Hey, you guys, this is Alchemist Negra, and I just wanted to get on here. Well, usually I am on here around this time because usually it's time, this is the time to do the next month's readings, but I'm also here to uh, just talk um, about how, like, if you're any age, um, and you decide that you can no longer talk to your family, it's okay. I wanted to come on here because I realized that somebody who has raised me all my life um, is toxic and is a narcissist. And for a long time, I had a feeling and I knew, but people say to you, well, you have to have a good relationship with your family. That's your mom, dad, whatever. And they kind of force you into these situations that are not healthy. And for a long time, I have questioned my judgment of the amount of pain that I have tolerated. I told myself that, oh, you're not in pain. And this has translated in many different ways in my life. I've realized, sorry, allergies. I realized it's translated a lot into my life, but I realized like I'm suffering from the effects of it, and I realized that I can't change this person, and this person might not change, and my situation makes me not have parents and not have a family. And that's very hard for me, and I imagine it's very hard for people to deal with that if they're in that situation where they don't have anywhere to go on holidays. They don't have anyone to talk to the way that a family is supposed to be there for you. Um, but I am blessed by the ancestors, gods, plants, whatever it is you believe, for good friends and good tribe. But for me, I couldn't do it anymore. I I have been feeling like I was just dying, honestly. Sorry, I'm trying to get emotional. I just felt like I was dying, and I tried. I feel like when you face someone who's raised you and they're narcissistic, you feel like nothing you do is right, and you haven't done anything. You haven't done anything right. Even if you have all the accomplishments in the world, you haven't done anything right. And it is, for me, I can't say it was to impress this person. It was not. I've always loved what I do, which is science, and I've always loved poetry. In fact, that person didn't want me to do that stuff. They just wanted me to supply them with whatever they needed, which is a part of narcissism. So in order for me to succeed and thrive, I had to get rid of that. But it's also just the fact that like you're raised to believe like everything you do is wrong and that person is unpleasable. And I dealt more with the victim narcissist. So the victim narcissist believes that, you know, they're a tortured soul. Everything that's happening to them is really, really bad. Their woe is me. They hate everybody. They hate the world. They hate you. And so every time I would accomplish something, that person would be like, oh, well, lucky you. Well, are you going to give me some money? Because nothing good ever happens to me. It was just very toxic. I took on the scapegoat role, and I have for all of my life since I was a child. I as a child, I was just programmed to think everything is your fault. Everything is your fault because you came into this world. You owe your parent your life. So, like when I was young, I didn't go to school like I should have. I had a lot of absences actually when I was in elementary school and a little bit into middle school because I wanted to work because like my mom made me feel bad like you don't do anything good. You're just a mess. You just bring bugs. You just bring crumbs. You don't know how to clean right. You don't know how to do nothing right. So on top of like doing all the chores over and over and trying to please that person, I wasn't going to school. And I was a depressed child. Like when I look at pictures of myself as a child, I realize how sad I look in the pictures. Like there's this one picture of me in kindergarten, and I'm like hiding behind this kid, and I'm like my face looks like that, and like everyone else is like this, and I'm like, I was very sad. Trigger warning. I'll put a trigger warning here. I tried to commit suicide when I was little because I was depressed. I didn't want to go to school, and I felt like I couldn't help out. So my life was useless, meaningless, and also my parent was telling me that, like, telling me they should have gotten an abortion. I should have never been born. I made their life so much harder. Their life would be so much greater if I wasn't alive. Now, I found somebody to help pull me up from that when I was in high school. I learned to love school when I was in high school. It was my way out. I was able to get away from the abuse. In addition, my parent had an addiction. In addition, my parent had an addiction and was a narcissist. And the sad part is that they're not an addict anymore, but when I became an adult, it continued, and I gave them so much money all the time. Like when I was living at home, when I graduated college, I paid half their mortgage. I paid for all the other stuff. I would do their laundry every day, cook and clean for them every day, including myself. I would move furniture for them because I felt like I had to, like I felt like I didn't deserve to be there, and they always made me feel that way. I was sexually harassed at my job, the very first job that I got out of college. Like the men there, they would stick their tongues out at me, and they would say like, oh, I'm gonna give you a reason to be tired tomorrow. Like they would say very like sexual things. They would call me like very racist things and stuff. And so I would tell my parent, and my parent would be like, well, you can't stay here if you don't got